guys, before we get this awesome video started, I just want to give a huge thank you to the guys behind the scenes that always help us out tremendously. Number one, the guys over at Banks Power, show them some love. Huge help on the channel. Awesome support from those guys. Make sure you guys show them some love. I'll put links down below to everybody. Second off, iBuildMyDiesel.com. If you guys aren't getting your parts from iBuildMyDiesel, if you are a dealer that is not signed up with iBuildMyDiesel, strongly suggest you check them out. Huge supporters of the channel. Renegade Products, if you guys need cleaning products, make sure you guys check them out for all of your cleaning supplies, combat abrasives, tons of different stuff on and through Renegade's site. Greg A discount code will save you some money, keep those rigs clean. Let's get on with the video today. What? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What are you even trying to do?
I'm trying to say hello.
Oh, yeah.
Nice haircut, Greg.
Boys, I had to get trimmed up for you guys. You know, after last night of my face looking like I stuck my head in the exhaust, getting this engine out, you know, it's the least I could do for you guys. But anyway, welcome back, guys. What is going on? Welcome back. I just screwed that all up. Anyway, we're rolling with it. Engine is out of the dang truck, okay? So yesterday, we are on the following day. This is day 2 here. As you can see, we've got a big gaping hole. We took the hood off. We took the engine out. I decided to be lazy and not take the turbos off, which ended up really, honestly, kind of fighting us to get this thing out. So, you know, I got a little flustered there at the end of the day. This thing, you know, got the best of me. Just a little bit. And Michael had to come over here and calm me down. So we did get the engine out. There are some things on this engine that will be getting swapped over. We have already been making plans on adding more Okay, we'll save that. So we're gonna be changing some things and stuff to make mo power even more. So I'm gonna probably continue to tear this thing down a little bit from the stuff that we need. I think we're gonna reuse the head studs, some of the fuel injection stuff. Anyway, the engine is out. That was my duty yesterday. And Michael over here has been doing what everybody is interested in knowing about, learning about, maybe not learning about. So we are assembling our engine here. Michael's gonna go over some of the details. If you guys missed the last video, go check out the last video. We're not gonna get into specific parts, all that stuff. Really what I wanna do is try to give some pointers, some tips and tricks to you guys who want to build your own engine in your garage. So this is going to be a little bit of a home built, I wanna say backyard, but I feel like we almost need to be in the dirt outside to call it backyard.
Two-car garage, maybe.
A two-car garage, maybe. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have a fancy parts washer yet, so we are doing things we don't have there's no fancy tools here, you know? So we're gonna do some things, and if you disagree, I don't really care, because if Michael says it's okay, then if the Ninja says it's okay, it's gonna be okay. So, step number 1, when you get your block back from machine work, you need to spend
Hours.
You need to spend quite a bit of time and a lot of brake clean. Special thanks to AMSOIL, because we have burned through quite a bit of brake clean. Where's your special brushes? I don't know if you would call these high dollar expensive tools, but I would say you're probably going to want to go get some of these high-tech fancy brushes that I'm sure Amazon sells.
These are Goodson. These are just old.
Nothing like a Goodson. I mean, Goodson.
These have had a lot of life. Well, I said that wrong. But anyway, clean. Just clean a lot.
So in some of the video, you probably saw him cleaning out some of the oil passages, some of the coolant passages, really just anywhere material couldn't get, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like all the little shavings that get in the holes, like that's what these do. Like basically I just brush the holes until you cannot see anymore. Like you'll see like a lot of brake clean on the brush in the hole, a lot of brushing.
And then grab your air nozzle and blow stuff out.
Yep.
So step number 1, make sure you guys do that. Obviously with a fresh engine, you don't want anything clogged going through it. I mean, like that can cause problems in a hurry.
Yeah, and you can kind of like use just kind of some common sense of like the way that this is drilled. So try and start from the top, work your way bottom. If you have the engine flipped a certain way, like try and make it to where all the dirt goes down and where you can blow it out, or don't clean the bottom or start at the bottom and then clean the top, because that stuff will get in there.
So what after that?
Did the same thing to the crank. After that, we put the crank in and then we double check with some plastic gauge. Yeah.
So for all of you weekend warriors, you know, this is, do you want to explain, like, this isn't, there are fancy tools, there are...
The best way to do it is to have like a dial indicator and have your machine shop do all that stuff. And this is more like, this is just us checking, because this really isn't anybody's problem except ours at this point.
Yep.
So we had the mains torqued, line honed, and then the machine shop checked the clearance, or checked the measurement of the bore, and they checked the measurement of the crank. And everything, quote unquote, checks out, but we are trying to just verify that to not have problems in the future.
Yep. So it's kind of just like a double, triple check, you know, in a very rough sense. Is it the most precise? No, but does it make us feel confident with what we're seeing? Yes. So again, if you're gonna get machine work done, would you agree that getting it line honed would be a pretty necessary?
I would. Between decking the head, or decking the block surface, the sealing surface to the head, and doing the hone here, like those are basically the two things that are gonna be critical in this application. So
again, this may not be the world's cheapest build. But again, if you guys watched the last video, we're trying to hit a pinnacle of getting things done to a certain extent, not spending tons of money, but with the plans of making this much horsepower, we did spend some, I guess, quote unquote, you know, if you're gonna slap together a 12 valve in your backyard, sure, like.
Right. We could have gone and done all the cam bearings. We could have made it a roller. We could have done fancy stuff to the block that adds up, and we didn't do any of that. It's all flat tappet, flats, you know, just stock stuff in there. So
Sweet.
That is where we're trying to meet the fine line.
So we checked our bearings, we got clearance on the crank, got everything cleaned up, and then what after that?
We welded the gear.
Welded the gear.
And then...
Because horsepower.
Yep. And then put rods on pistons and put bearings on. So basically we're at the point of we need to install the crank and see how far the pistons stick out of the block.
And do you have anything, tips, tricks, pointers? I know you spent quite a bit of time in our parts washer. So you do, I mean, we do have a parts washer over there. It's just a normal, you know, pick it up from Hobo Freight if you need to. And you washed.
I think a common thing is like new parts are new and they're great and they're perfect. Well, like there's machining oil, there's burrs, there's little things that get overlooked because they do that in such large quantity, and I just go over them and make sure every little piece is clean and there's nothing in the threads or like even the block we checked out. Some of the holes had some gunk in them, just made everything so it's nice and clean and do the work now rather than later.
So we've got our bearings snapped in there. That's exactly how they're supposed to look. And we if you guys can see down in here, we've got our squirters, our oil squirters in the bottom end there. They actually are a little bit different on 12 valves than the bolt-in style on the common rail. So you kind of bang them in with a punch and a hammer. And that is the way, you know, it's funny, the first time I ever saw inside of one of these, you're like, hey man, like why don't these holes line up? That's gotta be wrong, right? So they are supposed to look like that. So don't, if it's your first time, you know, don't freak out.
Yeah.
You're okay. Everything's gonna be okay. So that's kind of where we're at as of right now. We're gonna put the crank in there. We're gonna start bolting some things down together, and we're gonna check piston protrusion once we got all that together. So
I forgot to, like these clips, like I try and just make everything very uniform. Like I put the clips up so oil can stay there. It doesn't like get trapped in that hole. And then I make them both the same on both sides. And then these are just stamped out. So there's a round side and a sharp side. And I always put the sharp side out so it's harder for them to come unclipped when they're under pressure or under abuse.
So we've got our nice rod bolts over there that we're going to be using, and we still got to do rings, obviously. Yep. Correct.
Yep, we'll do that after we get the crank in and flip it over.
Sweet. So that's where we're at. That's the first stage right there. So we're going to get back to work and start we're going to start going on this here, this here sweet 12V engine.
factory front covers, which you don't have, so we don't need this crap.
Put that away. Where's your toy that you brought? I mean,
my teeth puller.
nice. This guy right here. Excuse me, sir. Sir.
Hey, easy.
Whoa, easy, guy. What you want to? What is this? All right, we're getting pretty far away from our backyard build here. We don't need any of that BS here. You know,
we borrow this from the neighbor, and we're just gonna borrow it. You know.
Man, just use that. Everybody just uses the back end just like that. You don't need none of the fancy stuff. Michael had to run home and grab some piston ring nonsense and ring compressor things and just tools that Greg doesn't have. So we're working away over here. Got most of the engine torn down. We've got the front cover off. We're getting ready to pull our pump off here. I'm gonna pull our cam because we need the case right here. I want to say cover, but it's not a cover. It's the case. We need the case. We need the pump. We need the cam. We need the tappets. We're actually going to reuse the Hamilton 180-220 that's in here, and the lifters that go along with that cam should be worn exactly to the cam. So we're just going to take them out in order, reuse them because you know we already have that stuff.